Mark, will you tell us who you are?
Yes, my name is Mark Phillip. I run a company here in Austin called Are You Watching This? We're a sports analytics company. We have algorithms that are able to identify in real time when a sporting event gets exciting. So when it's time to run to the couch, we give you a digital tap on the shoulder.
So what made you decide to get into this company or have this idea?
I like to say selfishness and a little bit of naivete. I have always wanted a site like this to exist. I hate nothing more than finding out the next morning that I was doing laundry when I could have been watching a great game, especially on a channel that I had. And I was just young enough to leave my sweet healthcare behind and go out and try to start it. Back in 2006, it was a very different world. I mentor a few students here in Austin at UT, and I try to explain to them what the startup world is like when you don't have iPhones and Twitter and Facebook. And that was just about 6 years ago. It's amazing how fast things have changed. But for me, it was a drive to scratch this itch that I always had, not really understanding what the path and journey would be like. But I was stubborn enough to know, you know what? I want to go out and try to make this happen.
And do you think anything in your educational background led you along to this path? And tell us about that background.
Well, I'm a Brooklyn native. Went to school up in Boston. I went to MIT for 3.5 years, much to mom's chagrin. And I learned a lot there. But MIT is a very theoretical school. Mm-hmm. They teach things like Lisp and Scheme when I was there, versus the languages that we thought we were going to use when we got out of college. And I think you can relate it to learning Latin. Mm-hmm. It's sort of the core, it is the basics, the elegance. But for me, I wanted to be getting my hands dirty. And so I think I had a great underpinning with my own education, but I had a lot of pent-up frustration of I just want to go out and build something. And in a way, that's what brought me to Austin. I moved here in 2000 at the height of the dot-com boom to work for Trilogy Software. Fell in love with the city right away and fell in love with the company as well, because it allowed me to get out in front and build things and innovate pretty much the first day you got there. I thought I'd be here in Austin for maybe 2 years, go back to the Northeast, maybe go out to the Bay, and 12 years later, I'm still here.
Well, we're so very glad you're here. You said you helped mentor some of the students at the University of Texas. Is this a reflection of your own drive earlier on, of wanting to go get your hands dirty and do something? Is that what's happening now at the university? It's
interesting. It's a part of Longhorn Startup. Originally it was called One Semester Startup, and I'm a big fan of the program. We have amazing teachers and professors. It's led by Josh Baer, Bob Metcalf, and we have these great students that come in trying to launch something in the semester. And sometimes I have story time when I tell them things like the story of when I turned down the CEO of Siri before anyone knew what Siri was because I didn't feel like integrating with the software. 12 months later, everyone knows who Siri is. Or when I was deceased on my credit report for 18 months. Always a fun thing to happen when you're trying to run a company. But I get a lot out of it also because they have a wide-eyed, I can take over the world mindset that gives back a ton to me. It's a lot of fun being around them because the mindset of being an entrepreneur is so different. Mm-hmm. When I was in middle school and high school, it was Top Gun. It was you had to be an astronaut or an Air Force pilot to be cool. Now you can be Mark Zuckerberg and they'll make movies about you. It's a very different world. So it's a lot of fun being around the students. I get more out of it than I give to them, I'm sure.
Is there any particular trait or message that you'd like to share with us about being an entrepreneur?
I think I sometimes shy away from that word. Mm-hmm. I'm a one-man shop. I'm bootstrapped. I think the average entrepreneur, even though it's painting with such a broad brush, would have done things a lot differently than I have. I like to think of myself more as an inventor, as someone that wants to build something that doesn't exist but needs to. And I think the advice that I give most often to students or anyone else really is find a pain point mm-hmm. and then solve it. I was getting ready for a wedding once. This was up in Cambridge, actually just a stone's throw from MIT. And I was ironing a shirt. And I was ironing, and I'm no good at ironing, but I make do. And I wasn't paying attention and the iron beat and changed the color. which I'd never seen before. So I keep doing my thing, whatever. And then the iron beeps again and changes color again. So I take a step back and look at this iron, trying to figure out what's going on. And it was actually color-coded. So on the dial, there were these different colors, and it matched up to the heat of the iron. And my biggest problem, I'm not a very good ironer. I just turn it up to the highest thing and start ironing, and then it's too hot, and then I turn it down, and I never get it quite right. But this unbelievably simple fix of, we're going to let you know how hot it is, with simple colors, simple noises, I thought was genius. And so I think if people are able to focus on that need, that pain point, all the other problems solve themselves, instead of looking for the me too, oh, this is a hot section, I'm going to go after that. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Austin Tech community. There's a lot less me toos and a lot more let me build something that's never been done before.
That's great. We look forward to talking to you again, Mark. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Laura.